Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. If you're new, hi, my name is Kay. I am a zero-based cash budgeter. And in today's video, I am going to be closing out my month of October and prepare for my month of November. So let's get started. Today I'm going to go into a little bit more depth into my budget, how I do my budget. I try and keep it very simple. And so let's go ahead and jump right into October and see how I did. So I filled out my tracker earlier, and of course this worksheet's down in my freebies section if you're interested and would like to use this worksheet for your own budget planning. I start out with my worksheet defining what month I'm in and what month I'm trying to budget for. I budget for my month of bills for the month ahead, since I am 1 month ahead and I've saved my expenses for a month to get this way. But if you're new to budgeting, you would most likely put in October and October, or November and November. So until you can get enough money saved in the account, in your bank account, to pay for your bills ahead of time. And if you're not quite a month ahead, then budgeting week by week is probably going to be more helpful to you. So last month I had estimated an income of $49.95. This included my W-2 or my full-time job, as well as a couple of side hustles that I do every month. I'm always trying to generate more income, and I actually got pretty close, earned maybe about $50 more than what I had planned. And then I went ahead and actually saved also a little bit in my bills because November bills were actually reduced. Finally catching up, I guess, in the billing cycles for the summer months when it was really high utilities. And so they're coming back down again. So I think I was able to make up a difference of $65 in my bills, so that I actually added that to groceries. Since I did go down, I went ahead and went to Costco and spent a little bit more stocking up on some things to last for about a month or two. So overall, I was really pleased with the budget that I had set for my monthly expenses. So I think I'm going to continue doing that. And I also was pleased with the budget that I had for my variable spending inside my wallet. The cash envelope section here in my worksheet is really the money that you would use weekly. So some of these categories are particular to me, and of course other people have different categories. They'll have more categories or less. I would think a bare bones category for variable spending would be gas and groceries, and then maybe a miscellaneous envelope. Dining out and entertainment would definitely be, an extra expense that is a luxury. But some people may have weekly spending here that would be different, and maybe they need childcare weekly, or maybe they need, I'm not sure, some other sort of fund, maybe coffee, just to treat themselves. Maybe they'll have a coffee fund. So this is what I try and keep myself under, or around, actually. And 340 worked out really good. Since October was an easier month for me for budgeting, because it was a very, it was an easy 4-week month. 340 is about right. I'm gonna up it a little bit in November, but not by much. And I use my credit cards as a way of funneling my bills towards one account, so that instead of using a bank account for all of my bills, I'm actually using a credit card so that I can earn cash back. I would not recommend this for everyone. I think credit cards are great when you can use them to get you out of a tight spot, or if you're like me and there really are no debts to worry about. It's more about using the benefits that a credit card can offer. Credit card monthly balances and paying them off can help increase your credit score. And so I was able to rebuild my credit score. after a life-changing event. And within a year, I was able to change it just by adding my bills to my credit card and paying my bills every month through the credit card. And so that's what I'm doing right here. I don't consider this part of my budget, and you'll see in November, I won't include any credit card debt when we go to budget. It's basically what I'm using to keep all of my expenses located in one spot and separate from where my income gets deposited into in the bank. It's easy for me to keep up with the expenses that way. I can go through my credit card statements and see all the different categories that I've spent in and pull the cash out from my sinking funds. So in October, I had budgeted $17.92, and I actually was able to stuff $19.01. And that's mainly because I had a little bit of extra income, and also I went ahead and I'm gonna put my extra dollar savings challenge. I have this like dollar savings challenge. Whenever I have rollover or anything, it goes into this dollar savings, and it's just a little extra little savings account that I keep within my sinking funds. And so I'm gonna reallocate that money into another sinking fund once I do my October sinking funds tracker. And so I will also post that video later. But just to total up here what happened. So my budget, I actually stayed on budget, and I was able to have a small balance in my checking account, which I do like to have a tiny little balance as a buffer. Just because when you're a month ahead, some bills get paid sooner, some get paid behind, and you're like, some are paid like on the month. Like my gas bill is billed and paid for on the month, and so Wi-Fi is paid ahead, and I think electricity is paid behind. It's a mess, but the buffer really helps. And then of course I have a category here for savings and investing. This portion I keep private, but I did pretty well. I'm really happy. I think the major highlights on my sinking funds is that I was able to fully fund my Prime membership. I was very intentional about that. And also I was able to kind of spur of the moment decide to plan a winter getaway for my anniversary. And so I was able to put extra money into that category. I did pull from other categories. Like you'll notice I didn't quite save $50 in the gifts category, but this is a low priority down here. I kind of categorize my sinking funds in priority order. So these first few here are, I consider my high priority. These are ones that I want to stuff frequently and be very consistent about staying within my budget that I've allotted myself. And then I've got my long-term savings. These are my sinking funds that come up annually mostly. And then I have my short term, which are usually my spending envelopes. So I will go in here whenever I go out with friends and touch the happy hour, or if I need a mascara, I'll go to my personal, or if I want to just buy something from Etsy. And then of course, gifts come up at work or with friends and family. So these sort of are luxuries too, like clothing. And if I wanted to buy anything like vitamins and wellness or extra exercise equipment, these are all luxury things. These are my specific personal sinking funds categories. So everyone's are going to be a little bit different, but that's how I use my worksheet. I just prioritize top to down and go through it that way. And you'll notice my budgeting funds, I'll tend to budget high in the high priority, and then it'll just start to dwindle down. Okay, so I think November or October was great. I really thought that it was an easy month to stay within budget. I know that we're about to get into the holidays, and that's when a lot of extra spending tends to pop up. And so I am going to start working on my budget for November. The first thing I do is always look ahead and estimate my income. And I do this very simply, and I'll show you. I have this tiny planner that I need to get a new one for 2004, but I write real small. It works for me, and I just put my income projections and then my bills in there. And then when I come in to work on my worksheet, I know at least my deadlines, when I'm going to get paid, and the deadlines for when my bills need to get paid. So I set up my calendars first, and then I start working on my worksheets. So my first income is paycheck is going to be $18.57, and since my full-time job is the same amount every month, I will put that in twice. I get paid bi-weekly, so I do split up my paychecks in half so that I can stuff weekly, and it just helps keep my spending under control. I do notice that that helps a lot. And then I also get a little wellness reimbursement to help me pay for anything that I want, like exercise equipment, that my work gives me as a benefit. And then my first side hustle is my house sitting and pet sitting, and looking ahead, it's going to be about $1,300 this month. And then my second hustle is what I'm trying to start doing on Amazon, and I'm going to estimate $500 again this month and shoot for $500. So all of this together is $5,557, and so that's quite a bit for the month of November. So that's a good thing. That means some of my categories are going to start to get fully funded next month or in November. And then next up, I'm going to skip credit cards because, of course, that's how I pay my bills. So we're going to come over here to mortgage. And this can be your rent category as well. But this is basically your housing. So for me, $24.12 covers it. My monthly expense for Wi-Fi stays the same at $66. My utilities, I'm going to budget the same as I did in October, and that's going to be $240. And lawn care is going to stay at $80. Streaming, I don't have a channel or any kind of app that I'm using right now, but I do have a small subscription. I'm only going to give it $10 this month at some point, and that should fully fund subscriptions. My Cash Rewards credit card paid for my subscription, which is about $22, $23 a month. And so if my rewards do that again in November, then I will, of course, not put in $10 and just kind of let the Cash Reward card pay for that bill. So all in all, my monthly expenses for my bills total $28.08. And I do like to break it out weekly. And weekly, it's going to be $700. So that's what I'll be stuffing every week with my paycheck towards my bills. Next is going to be my variable expenses. These are the things I'm most likely going to need throughout the week. Gas, I was pretty good at keeping it at $60 a month last month, so we're going to do it again. Groceries is going to get a tiny bump. I'm going to give it $120 for the month. Dining out worked out really well at $120. Entertainment is pretty good at $40, and miscellaneous is great at $20. Miscellaneous is my buffer envelope in my wallet in case I go over in these 4 categories. And so weekly, that's going to be $15 I'm going to stuff for gas. In groceries, it'll be $30 a week. Same with dining out. And entertainment's going to be $10 a week, and miscellaneous will get $5 a week. So that's $360 a month, and it's $90 in my wallet a week. So that's the plan for November. I also like to try and do my extra principal and month ahead consistently every month of $200 from my paycheck. And that's really about all my paycheck covers. The rest I'm going to budget out based on my side hustle income. And what I would suggest if you're thinking about creating categories for sinking funds is to plan what future expenses you're going to have. Sinking funds are all about avoiding debt, right? So you want to create a category that you can sink money into to help you save money so that you're not, when the bill finally comes up, you're not, expected to pay one giant bill. You have, it helps you save the money gradually and avoid that lump sum payment when that bill is due. Great examples would be car insurance if you're paying your premiums every 6 months. Also for me, like taxes, of course, it's going to be annually. So I go ahead and not only do I consider the category, but I also create a deadline. So I look on my calendar and I budget how much I need. So if my taxes was $2,000, I divide that by 12 months, and that's going to be my monthly stuffing. So that's how I consider my sinking funds, right? So this also helps improve like your financial health. If you are, under a lot of debt, your sinking funds can help you save that money ahead of time. So if something like were to come up as an emergency, you're not taking necessarily from these categories because you've got either a savings set aside, which if you don't have an emergency savings, a $1,000 emergency savings is something you should probably build first, and then you work on creating your sinking funds so that when that emergency arises, you're not pulling from your sinking funds category because you're avoiding debt here. You're going to use that emergency fund and definitely tap into that emergency savings so that you can stay on track. Great examples, like I said, are car insurance or deductibles, like your car deductible or your medical deductible, because medical tends to throw people off. And I would think that even some like school tuition would be a great example too. Just like taxes, you know what that amount's going to be. You can divide it up based on your pay periods, and you'll know what to spend or stuff every month. So yeah, that helps not only increase, your financial health, but it also helps with your cash flow every month. I'm sorry, I'm house sitting right now, and I think a cat really wants my attention. She's starting to scratch the furniture. But anyway, so that's what you do. You decide how much you want to stuff. You calculate your timeline. You work within your budget, and then you divide by how many stuffings you need to stuff it, and that's what you put in your envelopes. So for me, I want to try and budget a little bit of money in my Amazon business. I need to start considering adding more product and increase our sales. I really am trying to get to another goal for Amazon. I would like to have a $1,000 monthly goal. Now that I've reached a $500 monthly goal, I want to start investing in more products to sell. So I'm going to put $200 in that category. Property taxes is going to need $300, and this is going to keep me on track for a large $2,000 payment in April. Hair and beauty is just going to get $100. I try and stuff $100 every month in there because I do go to the salon about every 6 weeks. Vacation's going to get $180 this time. Schmoopy is going to stay low at $50, and same with personal. I'm going to give us both $50. Christmas, I'm going to try and complete my Christmas tracker, and that's $205. So that's what we're going to try and do in November. Anniversary, I need to start saving for expenses on our trip, so I'm budgeting $300. Car insurance is funded, so we won't worry about that one. Car care, I want to try and stuff $90 this month. HOA gets its usual $16. That keeps me on track for a July payment of $200. Home care is going to get $40. And for memberships, I'm now working on my Costco memberships. And in order to complete the tracker, I need like $85. But I need to go into my Costco app and see how much I've already accumulated as a reward. So we are closing out this category since we don't need it. But and this one might come down later. Deductibles, this is my 100 envelopes challenge, and I want to try and stuff 100 in it. Happy hour is going to get 40 this month. It worked out well last month, so gifts is going to get 40. I'm going to try again to get a little more in there. Same with clothes, just 40. Savings, this is my extra $1 savings, and I just kind of leave that blank, and whatever I can save, I will reallocate. And I'm not having a givings envelope this month, but I am going to do one of my fall savings, or fall, it's called Fall Vibes. That's what it is, Fall Vibes. It's a savings tracker that one of our YouTube friends, budgeting friends, gave me. So I'm going to try and work on completing that one this month. And so this entire row I calculated earlier. You know what's missing is wellness. Let me put wellness in here really quick. I think I need to update my spreadsheet. And wellness is going to get 60. All right, I'm just kind of double checking. I think this all looks good. Okay, so the total here is going to be $23.89. And so my income again is $557. Bills will be $28.08. My stuffing of my cash envelopes is going to be $360. And my sinking funds is $23.89. And I don't have my calculator with me, but I believe it's a zero-based budget. And so that's the goal, right? We want every dollar to have a job. And so I have assigned a task for every dollar. And of course, throughout the month, we're going to, restructure, reprioritize. And so what actually happens, keeping track of that is great when you're planning, for your next month, just to see, what you were capable of, how your priorities changed, because a lot can happen in a month. And of course, I have a savings stuff. I have a health spending account that I get from work and a 401k at work. And this information I just keep private, but I do have high yield savings accounts. So those, I just keep the interest rate. I keep them in the high yield savings account, and I just let them roll over every month and accumulate more interest. I don't consider that interest as income. I'm just trying to build my savings, and that's just a really easy way for me to do that. All right, you guys, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. I think budgeting this way and, including all of this, like your bills, what you want to spend as spending money, what you need to sink in for paying future expenses off. I think it eliminates, and this is what's most important to me, it eliminates this like bad habit of the what's left savings mentality. Like, I don't budget anymore with what's left. I know now exactly where my money is going. And so I can stop now. I can stop and say, I don't have to say, oh, hopefully I'll have enough to cover, that unplanned expense. Now I know that I've created a plan, and I now can, basically eliminate any sort of future debt possibilities or eliminate any high stressful situations that may arise, because now I'm saving and I'm building and I've got that security. So a lot of this too is practice. Every month, it's like you think you've got it right, but every month has its own set of challenges. And so it's a practice, right? Practice and discipline too. And so, just like a doctor practices medicine, we're practicing budgeting. No one knows, exactly how things or what life's going to be like. No one knows what your budget's really going to end up being like, but we can do our best to plan. And I think that's all. If you guys have any other questions for me, please go ahead and leave them down in the comments. I hope you truly enjoyed this video, and if you did, please let me know and subscribe and hit that like button. And I will see you guys on my next video. Bye for now.